Texas Motor Speedway, playing host to Round 7 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. This is the Lone Star State. The question is, who will be the Lone Star? Can James Dean three-peat, or will Peter Visick beat his teammate? Frederick Osbo is 1 point ahead of James Dean. Chris Forsberg, the only three-time champion, is in the hunt, and Odie Bakshis started out strong. Can he finish strong? We'll find out only on Formula Drift Insider. Before things kick off in Texas, let's take a look back at the Gateway of the West, Round 6 in St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis was a challenging track. I think it's challenging for everyone. We adapted really fast, I feel like, and did well. Honestly, we would have at least podiumed, but we faced the guy that was right on my heels, man. This whole season seems like Frederick Osbo, and he advanced. Too bad we battled in top 8, not in the finals. You know, that was a final battle, in my opinion, and we just had a bracket like that very early on, and one of us had to lose. So it was a one more time. We didn't just lose right away, but someone had to lose, and it was me that round.
St. Louis is a weird event for me. The track was weird. It took me a while to get comfortable on it, and then our tandem battles were just. We didn't win. I feel like we didn't win because we drove super well. We won more on technicalities. Like Matt Field couldn't get his car done in time in a 5-minute call, so we moved on from that. Daijiro won on a technicality there because of he slowed on to get to the inside clip on the last turn. We kind of lucked our way into the semifinals, which gave us some good points. I was happy about that, but it was just it was just a strange one for me.
It was a course layout that felt like you got cheated of all the fun parts. You got in the gas and then boom, you had to brake, and then you get in the gas again, then boom, you had to brake. But after a while, we started getting the hang of it, especially throughout the competition rounds. Had a little bit of luck, and then we really started to figure out both our lead runs and our chase runs. And it took us all the way to the finals, up against James in the finals. And then, in the very last run of the day, I ripped the shifter straight off. And that's all she wrote. I came up short in turn 1, and we ended up second place in St. Louis, but still a great event, and I ended up really liking the track after all.
So it felt absolutely incredible to get our first win of the 2019 season in Formula Drift St. Louis. Challenging track, but it's really, we started off the season pretty rough. We tried our best all the way through the season. Started getting on the podium, in the last few rounds, and my main aim for the end of the season was to just once again stand on top step of that podium. So it happened for us in St. Louis, so now I feel like I'm enjoying everything a bit more. I don't really feel the pressure. I'm just, enjoying it for what it is. And we'll see how this weekend goes.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By GUMOUT. Science in, performance out. And by Air Force. Aim high.
Coming into Texas, Round 7, we are way over the hump. There's only one more round, and that's the House of Drift. Drivers are now focused in on the championship.
Coming into Texas, I feel like I got some ground to make up. I was leading the championship first part of the season, and it's been super competitive. I'm 4th right now, and we've been killing it. We've been doing really well. It's that competitive, and I have the championship within grabbing distance, and I could totally take it. So this event is pretty important for me.
Coming into Texas, I think I felt good. We drove here really well last year. We got knocked out in top 8 last year against Osbo. We felt like we beat him in one more time, but he ended up getting the win. So coming back here, good confidence. I like the track. The car feels phenomenal here with the new Nitto tire, and it's super fast. So it's been good so far.
I managed to win last year here, and to repeat it, I will definitely need to try my best. We're definitely aiming for that, but before that, we need to focus on the battles earlier on, practice, training session before that. So a few things before that, but yeah, we have a good feelings. Hopefully it will stay like that till the end.
Doing well here would be awesome. You know, I've been lucky enough, I think, to have 4 podiums in a row in Formula Drift, last 4 rounds. So if we could get another one, it'd be just amazing. It shows that the team is working really good, the car is reliable, and I feel like I'm doing a good job as a driver. But it's not easy, it's very challenging, but we're going to try our best and hope that it works out.
Leading the championship by 1 point going into Texas is very special. Some people may think we have a stronghold on the championship, but far from it. This championship is totally open for grabs. Historically, we haven't been really strong here in Texas. We're definitely looking to change that around this year.
With some drivers trying to dial it in, other drivers are just trying to keep it going.
It was wide open with no oil pressure all the way through. Pennzoil is the best oil, but it's a hard ask to be. Well, yeah, the heat and just the load on this motor, 1,000 horsepower, wide open for that long. I mean, we're looking at it now, but we just pulled the filter. There's a ton of oil, the metal in the filter. And we have a spare, but time between now and competition is a really, really tough turnover.
Vaughn's cadence might be a little calm, but his team, on the other hand, is working feverishly. This happened in practice right before Top 32, and they know their next stop is their first battle of competition. Unfortunately, competition arrives. Now the competition timeout is called. 5-minute allotment to get to the line. Time expires, which means they are a DNS. That is a did not start for Vaughn Gittin Jr. and the former champ.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Nexen Tire. We got you. By NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive? And by Falcon Tires.
Top 32 is on stage here at No Limits, Texas. Texas Motor Speedway, the fans have endured some serious heat, but the drivers have endured even more. And the top 6 in the overall standings have advanced. Odie Bakshies, Peter Visick goes past Pat Gooden. Chris Forsberg and Jeff Jones get into a little bit of contact, with Chris Forsberg, the 3-time champ, advancing. Ryan Turk, who started out the season rough, has now risen to the occasion and moves on. Frederick Osbo, leading the championship coming into Texas, has now been overtaken by a perfect score of 100 by James Dean. That's the 2nd this season and the 3rd ever in Formula Drift history. James Dean now goes against the Beast from the Bay in the first battle. James Dean, now taking the points lead, wants to get an even larger gap ahead of Frederick Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer. But Matt Field really knows how to apply the pressure. James Dean pushes back. He is known as the Machine.
I knew I had to push hard when chasing Field because he had a great chase on me. So into the first corner, was right with him, very happy where I ended up. Followed him around the first corner all the way through, very close. Close through the straight, onto outer zone 3, nice and close. And as we're transitioning past inner clip 1, I could see that he was going deeper than usual, and I had a feeling it wasn't going to work. So I just tried to hold my own line, to get around the corner, but unfortunately for Matt, he hit the tires really hard and it spun him around 2 times. So we're lucky it wasn't a 2-car incident. Definitely, you don't want to see crashes like that, but it's the way it goes when you're pushing so hard.
I follow him first, and I just try to go as close as possible. And he was actually, I think his car was tight setup-wise because temperature dropped. So it seems like he was having a hard time sliding around. Because of that, I was able to stay close with him the whole time.
I pushed as hard as I could at the end, got right back with him, but that little bit, it's just that quick half-second e-brake pull just so I could get around that in-clip. That was it, but man, I'm pumped for Dai. Dai is such an awesome dude. He's like my favorite FD driver. So, I hope he does well this weekend and gets on the podium tonight. So, go Dai.
The next battle has a Formula Drift rookie, João Barrion from Brazil, out-qualifying a veteran, Ryan Turk.
Yeah, Barrion out-qualified me, so I had to chase in the first lap. Not my best chase lap, but just kind of stick it in there where I could. I was on through the first half of the course really well, and then when we transitioned to inner one, he gapped me a little bit, and then I closed it at the end.
With all the problems in the engine, was really hard to drive here, but I love it here, and I can't wait to be back here next year.
We had Travis Reeder in top 16, and we got the lead first, so just went out and threw down, you know, as best of a run as I could. Track's a lot tighter. I was a little off on outside zone 2 when I went to lay in the throttle coming out of the first turn. It really hooked up and pulled to the right more than I was expecting, and so we missed a little bit there, but it wasn't so bad. Cleared the course, everything else was good, and Travis kind of fell behind a little bit on our chase run. He had a little bit of a dig on me coming out of turn 1, and we were able to close that gap by outside zone 3 to inner 1 and ran him through the finish, and so we got the win.
I got lost. I was about to shave a bumper behind you. I looked in for a slight second, and then I had like a transition too slow, and then I like jumped out, and I was like, oh. Yeah, man. Yeah, good job. Good luck.
It felt great leading. I just did what I got to do, just lay down a qualifying run. And when we switched, I knew that Dean was going to go into it a little slow, and he did. That's exactly what my spotter told me. I took it slow, like easy and safe going into the turn with him. And then what really threw me off is that exiting outer zone 1, the speed dropped tremendously, so I had to adjust. And then it picked up tremendously. So I had to play a little catch up in the inside of the track, which, you know, I felt like was just not the smoothest lead run to follow. And honestly, I wanted to rub a crescent mark on his door because I was frustrated that, you know, there's some slinky effect going on. And I'm looking forward to just throttle down the rest of the event and running smooth, running, you know, as fast as I can and just having a good time.
My lead run, I didn't quite fill the outer zone as much as I wanted to, but it was smooth, good commitment, lots of throttle, big angle through inner clip 1. Just barely nicked it with the tire, but overall it was a solid run. Gucci ended up tapping me in the passenger side door on the exit. While I was on throttle, I think he was just trying to close some of that gap. All good, stayed in the gas, everything was clean. And then on the other direction, I gave him a little bit of room on entry because it's a little long of a handbrake drag. Drove up on him, stayed where I needed to, and basically just tried to stay about a car length back the entire time so I could let him do his thing and we could just be there to party.
It was the first time when I was driving in those conditions, so I want to figure it out, how does the track looks like. And it is hard, especially the third outside zone when you have to carry the speed through it and then maneuver precisely to the first clipping point. It was a bit sketchy there, and then the transition to the wall was a bit too close, but managed to save it, then cross the finish line. And I saw for the split second on the screen that he was really close, and my spotter confirmed that. So I know that I have to push very hard, and I managed to stay close behind him. It was my first proper chase actually on this track, because during the practice I was struggling the whole time. So very happy. I hope that I found the pattern, and hopefully I will be able to use it furthermore.
Oh my God, nail biter. I've been so nervous for this battle the entire day. And Taguchi really brought it. I knew that I had to bring my A game. I knew that I had to drive it 100% if we were to have a chance to move on. Gave it everything I got, really trusted Taguchi. Had a slight hiccup coming into turn 2. I got into him, hit his tire. 2 tires touching like that is not a good thing, but we scraped through, finished off the run, really good chase run. Now for my lead, just try to put an all-out lead run. It was enough. We move on into the top 8.
Very good driving this weekend. Thank you. It was a pleasure, honor. It's great to see you do so well. Great job. Great job. Next time.
Yeah.
Sugoi. Thank you.
Thumbs up, sportsmanship. Frederick Osbo is still in it, as is James Dean. The Grade 8 when we return.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By GUMOUT. Science in, performance out. By Nitto Tire. Fueled by enthusiasts. And by Achilles Radio. Tires you can trust.
The cell phone lights are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. As the Great 8 ensues, the full moon is shining on our first battle. James Dean versus Daijiro Yoshihara.
So we just battled Dai in top 8, and I was leading first. I led the smoothest of my lead run so far in tandem, especially at the night is tricky because your reference points are different. It was close, but I think he had some mistakes, and when it was my turn to chase, I tried to chase him nice but not get too close and knock myself out. So I tried to just be close enough to where I didn't get lost and close enough to have good proximity. But it wasn't crazy aggressive, but it was a nice smooth run.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, always good. Take it to the top, man.
I will try, but it won't be easy. Thank you, man. I know.
Camaraderie is always a thing, but these guys share a lot of time together. It's the blackout battle, Forsberg versus Turk.
We had a pretty good lead run, felt solid. We had a lot of speed in the car, and Turk said he was just like pushing hard to make up some ground after inner one, trying to get the dive on the last outer zone, and just barely like nicked the back of my car with his wheel, and his front wheel folded off. And so we go back out for our second battle, and he had a lot of speed. We got in with him in turn 1. He pulled me a little bit in the same spot that I pulled him the previous run. Cars are pretty evenly matched, and same thing, I just kind of like tried to get the dive back in on him on that outer zone. We stayed off him and got the win.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah, it was a one more time battle, and in the chase, I was right there where I needed to be. He gapped me a little bit coming out of turn 1, but I was able to close the gap and get up close across the finish line. And then in the chase run for him, I was doing a good lead run, had a lot of angle through inner clip 1, transitioned back, picked up the throttle, and when I got on the throttle, my car rocket shipped forward. And from what I saw in the replay, it looked like he was thinking I was gonna float out a little bit and he was gonna go right into that cut. But my car rocket shipped forward while he was cutting the line and just wheel to wheel, caught it, launched him up in the air. I've been OD in that situation many times, so it's good to be the other end of it.
So the first run against Freddy, I was leading first, and I tried to do as good lead line as I can. Everything was pretty fine from that till that moment, and then I was chasing him. And I heard to the radio that I need to push because the advantage will be on his side after this. So I tried to do my best. It was really good. It was better than I was expecting, to be honest, through the first half of the track. And then I transitioned and I pushed too hard. Unfortunately, I want to apologize Freddy and all his crew for mess what I created, because I really feel bad about it. I also feel bad about my crew because now they will have to struggle with what I left with my car. So hope it wouldn't be too bad, because Irwindale is coming, and I hope that Freddy will be able to recover.
You don't want to drive it like that, dude. Not as fast.
I don't think we can align it.
Like, I can't allow it. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's gonna just do this, and it's just. Yeah. So we've got basically like one battle, 2 battles, plus 10 minutes. No, you wouldn't have 10 minutes.
Got it. So 15 minutes maybe. I don't even know if we have that much adjustment in the arms. I mean, we tried. The whole subframe is broken. We can't fix it. We don't have another one. I mean, the entire rear bottom of the car is literally shifted over and like broken. The car's broken. Yeah.
It's all hands on deck in the Osbo camp. The hammer continues off track as it does on track. Chris Forsberg and James Dean are the first battle in the final 4.
Very close battle with Chris. I led first, had probably the best lead run of the night, really enjoyed it. Chris closed into me throughout the latter part of the course, and then it was my turn to chase. I tried to chase him as best I could. It was nice and smooth, close in the transitions, enjoyable from my point of view, and we managed to get the win. So we're into the finals. It's getting crazy, it's all coming down to the wire. Tonight's been mental with all the stuff happening. Crashes, cars breaking, everything else, but we're into the finals. I'm feeling great and I'm just having fun right now.
Nope, looks like he's gonna try it.
Texas Motor Speedway has been a battle of attrition. All vehicles have taken a licking, and these gentlemen keep on ticking. The team has done their part. Now, with the far from perfect vehicle, Frederick Osbo does battle against Chelsea DeNova.
We just sent it, you know? I went out there trying to chase Chelsea with everything I got. It wasn't enough, fell back, and you know, in the lead run, I was actually able to gap him a little bit, but that strong lead run he had was absolutely killer, and we lose out in top 4. But still, one heck of a job by the team.
High five.
Even with Frederick Osbo going out in Final 4, the championship comes down to Irwindale. For the win here in Texas, it's James Dean versus Chelsea DeNova.
Yeah, going into the final was really interesting because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about the championship, right? And if James Dean wins here, he's going to extend his lead going into Irwindale. But it was actually Chelsea DeNova that played a role in favor of Frederick Osbo here this weekend because he did not let James Dean get that win. So Osbo and Dean go out just one position apart, which means the gap is going to be much smaller than it could have been had James Dean got the win. And so for the time being, Chelsea DeNova is James Dean kryptonite.
It feels really good to get a victory. The team has been winning every event. Even though we're not placing as at the top, the team has been killing it, doing a great job, and we're going to be absolutely killing it at Irwindale this year. We know the setup. I learned some things with the car this weekend that I have never learned because I was able to drive it as hard as I could. And I think we got another win coming at Irwindale. I know we got another win coming at Irwindale.
DeNova, Dean, Forsberg. The championship is still up for grabs. Join us at the House of Drift for the final round of the FD Championship. In association with Formula Drift, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.